The massive view screen in the Galactic Council chamber showed the sleek black shape of humanity's first true battleship. The TAS Thunderstorm hung in space like a dark arrow, its hull catching the light of a distant sun. Most alien representatives leaned forward in their seats, their eyes fixed on the display. Captain Hajin stood on the bridge of his new command, running his hand along the smooth metal of his captain's chair. After 15 years in the Terran Space Force, this moment felt unreal. The thunderstorm was humanity's answer to years of being looked down upon by the galactic community. Engineering reports all systems are green. Captain, Engineer Lee called from his station. The young officer's fingers danced across his console, checking and double-checking every system. The Thunder Array is powered but inactive, as requested for the demonstration. The ship wasn't pretty by alien standards. Where other species built their ships with sweeping curves and artistic designs, the Thunderstorm looked almost plain. Its black hull was broken only by the weapon ports and engine arrays, but humans had learned long ago that sometimes the simplest designs worked best. In the council chamber, Leader Krav let out a sound that might have been a laugh. His gray-scaled skin rippled with amusement as he turned to his fellow council members. This is what the humans want us to believe is a breakthrough in ship design. Krab's voice carried across the chamber. It looks like they welded together storage containers and called it a battleship. Other council members chittered in agreement, but Commander Song stayed quiet. The intelligence division leader had spent years studying humans, and something about the ship's design bothered him. Humans were known for being unpredictable, and this ship was too simple, too basic. They were hiding something. Back on the Thunderstorm, Captain Hajin received the transmission he'd been waiting for. All stations, prepare for systems demonstration, he announced, his voice calm and clear. Lieutenant Park, power up weapon systems but keep safeties engaged. Yes, Captain, Park replied from the weapons station. She had trained for months on the new systems, and her hands moved with confidence across the controls. In the council chamber, the alien representatives watched as panels began sliding open along the Thunderstorm's hull. But instead of the expected energy weapon arrays, they saw something different, something new. Commander Song leaned forward, his four eyes widening. "Those aren't standard weapon mounts," he said softly. "The design is all wrong." "Wrong? They're primitive," Krav declared. "They're still using physical projectile housings. This ship isn't even worth evaluating." He stood up, ready to end the demonstration. That's when the Thunderstorm began its real show. The ship's hull seemed to ripple as hundreds of smaller ports opened. A soft blue glow emanated from within, and the surrounding space began to distort slightly. Engineer Lee monitored the power readings with a small smile. The aliens didn't understand yet, but they would. Thunder Array at 20%. All vectors nominal, Lieutenant Park reported. Ready for demonstration pattern Alpha. Captain Hajin nodded. Begin demonstration. The space around the Thunderstorm lit up. The aliens watched in confusion as rings of energy pulsed outward, each carrying clusters of what looked like simple metal projectiles. But these projectiles moved in ways that defied normal physics, curving and accelerating as the electromagnetic fields guided them. Commander Song jumped to his feet. "Those aren't just projectiles," he said, his voice tight with surprise. "They're combining electromagnetic field technology with physical ammunition. The energy rings are guidance systems." Krav's dismissive expression faltered as he watched the demonstration unfold. The Thunderstorm's primitive weapons were dancing through space, performing maneuvers that should have been impossible for physical projectiles. "Captain," Engineer Lee called out, "all systems performing perfectly. The alien sensors are going crazy trying to track our field patterns." Hajin allowed himself a small smile. Humanity had learned long ago that sometimes the best way forward wasn't to copy what others were doing, but to take a different path entirely. The Thunderstorm wasn't just a battleship, it was a statement. In the council chamber, Commander Song turned to Leader Krav. "Still think it's not worth evaluating?" Before Krav could answer, The emergency alerts began blaring. A Drachnid pirate fleet had been detected attacking the civilian transport near the demonstration area. All eyes turned to the thunderstorm. Captain Hejin straightened in his chair as the report came in. This wasn't just a demonstration anymore. This was a chance to show the galaxy what humanity's first battleship could really do. All hands, he announced. Battle stations. Let's show them what the thunderstorm was built for. The civilian transport's distress signal filled the bridge of the TS thunderstorm. Captain Hejin watched the tactical display as 5 Drachnid pirate ships surrounded their prey like hungry wolves. The transport was a passenger vessel, carrying over 300 civilians from different species. Status report. Hejin ordered, his voice steady despite the tension. Lieutenant Park looked up from her weapons console. Thunder array at full power, Captain. All weapon systems ready. Her fingers hovered over the controls, waiting for orders. The main screen showed the pirate ships clearly now. They were ugly vessels, covered in mismatched armor plates, stolen from their victims. Their leader flew a ship marked with red stripes, a notorious vessel known as the Blood Harvest. "Sir," Engineer Lee called out, "the civilian ship is venting atmosphere from their port side." The pirates' last shot breached their hull. In the Galactic Council chamber, the alien representatives watched the scene unfold on their displays. Leader Krav sneered, "One human ship against 5 Drachnid vessels. They'll be destroyed." Commander Song remained silent, his 4 eyes fixed on the screen. The thunderstorm was advancing steadily toward the pirates, showing no signs of fear. Back on the bridge, Hejin opened a channel. "This is Captain Hejin of the TS Thunderstorm. Release the civilian vessel immediately." Harsh laughter answered him. The leader of the pirates, his scaled face filling the screen, bared his sharp teeth. "A human ship. Perfect. We've never added human technology to our collection. Attack." The 5 pirate ships broke formation, spreading out to surround the thunderstorm. Their energy weapons charge, glowing in angry red. "They're using standard Drachnid attack pattern," Commander Kim reported from Tactical. "They expect us to defend from all sides like other ships do." Hejin nodded. "Then let's show them something new. Lieutenant Park, initialize Thunder Array, scatter pattern Theta." The thunderstorm's hull came alive. Hundreds of small ports opened, but instead of firing immediately, they began emitting a low blue pulse. The energy field around the ship started to ripple and twist. The pirates fired first. Energy beams lanced out from all 5 ships, converging on the thunderstorm. But when they hit the rippling field around the ship, something strange happened. The beams bent and scattered, most missing completely. "Now," Hejin ordered. Lieutenant Park's hands flew across her console. The Thunder Array activated, but not like in the demonstration. This time, the electromagnetic fields pulsed outward in complex patterns, carrying streams of projectiles that curved and accelerated in impossible ways. The pirates, expecting standard energy weapons, had no defense against physical objects moving with such speed and unpredictable paths. "How are they doing that?" Leader Krav demanded in the council chamber. "Those movement patterns defy physics." Commander Song leaned forward. "No, they're using physics in a way we never considered. The electromagnetic fields aren't just guiding the projectiles, they're warping space around them." The first pirate ship took hits along its entire length. The specially designed projectiles pierced their energy shields like they weren't even there. A second ship tried to retreat but found its engines torn apart by a curving stream of Thunder Array fire. 2 ships disabled, Commander Kim reported. The other 3 are trying to regroup. The pirate leader's voice crackled over the comm. "Impossible. What kind of weapons are these?" Hejin didn't respond to the pirates. Instead, he ordered, "Lieutenant Park, demonstration pattern beta. Show them what happens when they threaten civilians." The thunderstorm's Thunder Array reconfigured. This time, the electromagnetic fields formed a complex web around the remaining pirate ships. When the projectiles fired, they used these fields like a transit system, hitting the pirates from dozens of angles at once. In the council chamber, even Leader Krav had fallen silent. The human ship wasn't just winning. It was revolutionizing space combat before their eyes. The battle ended quickly after that. 4 pirate ships floated dead in space, their systems destroyed by precision hits. The Blood Harvest, its weapons and engines disabled, could only watch as the thunderstorm moved to help the civilian transport. "Send medical teams to the transport," Hejin ordered, "and inform the council we'll need assistance collecting these pirates." As his crew carried out his orders, Hejin looked at the main screen. The thunderstorm had just proven that humanity's approach to space warfare worked. But he knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy would be watching now, and not everyone would be happy about this new power among the stars. In the council chamber, Commander Song turned to Leader Krav. "Still think they just welded together storage containers?" Krav didn't answer. He was too busy watching the replay of the battle, trying to understand how his people had gotten humans so wrong. News of the thunderstorm's victory spread through the galaxy like wildfire. The Drachnid pirates, known for their fierce reputation, had been defeated by a single human ship, but their leader, known as Bloodwing, was not finished yet. 3 days after the first battle, the thunderstorm received an urgent message. Engineer Lee's voice filled the bridge. "Captain, multiple ships coming out of faster-than-light travel. It's a full Drachnid battle group." Captain Hejin stood from his chair as 15 Drachnid warships appeared on the main screen. At their center was a massive vessel covered in blood-red markings, Bloodwing's personal flagship. "Message coming in," Commander Kim announced from his station. Bloodwing's face appeared on the screen. Unlike the common pirates they had faced before, he wore the marks of a true Drachnid war chief. His scaled face showed deep scars, and his eyes glowed with anger. "Human captain," Bloodwing growled, "you humiliated my raiders. Now you face real warriors. Surrender your ship and its weapons, or we will destroy you." Hejin looked calm as he replied, "This is your only warning, Bloodwing. Leave now, or learn why the thunderstorm earned its name." In the council chamber, the alien representatives watched with growing concern. Leader Krav paced nervously. 15 ships. The humans are brave, but this is suicide. Commander Song studied the tactical display carefully. "Watch," he said softly. "They're about to show us something new." On the thunderstorm's bridge, Lieutenant Park was already moving her hands across her console. "Thunder array reconfigured for multiple targets, Captain. New combat pattern ready. All hands, battle stations," Hejin ordered. Engineer Lee initialized the storm protocol. The Drachnid ships spread out in a classic attack formation, their energy weapons charged, filling space with an eerie red glow. But the thunderstorm didn't retreat. Instead, its hull began to pulse with waves of blue light. The thunder array ports opened, but this time they moved, shifting position along specially designed tracks in the hull. The electromagnetic field around the ship grew until it looked like the eye of a storm in space. Bloodwing's voice boomed over the comm. "Fire. Destroy them." 15 ships fired at once. Energy beams and plasma torpedoes streaked toward the thunderstorm. But when they hit the electromagnetic storm field, something incredible happened. The attacks didn't just bounce off. They were caught in the field, spinning around the ship like water going down a drain. "Now," Hejin ordered quietly. Lieutenant Park activated the full power of the thunder array. The spinning energy from the Drachnid attacks merged with the ship's electromagnetic field. Suddenly, the thunderstorm was at the center of what looked like a real space storm. The ship fired, but instead of normal projectiles, it launched specially designed shells that used the captured energy from the Drachnid attacks. The shells rode the electromagnetic waves like surfers on a beach, picking up speed and power. "Impossible," Leader Krav shouted in the council chamber. "They're using the pirates' own energy against them." Commander Song nodded slowly. "Humans learned from Earth's storms. They don't try to be the strongest force. They use their enemy's strength against them." On the battlefield, the Drachnid ships tried to escape, but it was too late. The energized shells tore through their shields like paper. Each shell split into dozens of smaller projectiles, all guided by the electromagnetic storm the thunderstorm had created. 3 Drachnid ships exploded. 4 more lost their engines. The others tried to run, but the storm field kept them trapped. Their flagship is trying to jump to faster than light speed, Commander Kim reported. Not today, Hejin said. Lieutenant Park, show them the lightning strike. The Thunder Array focused all its power on Bloodwing's ship, a massive bolt of electromagnetic energy, carrying hundreds of projectiles, hit the flagship's main engine. The giant ship went dark, drifting helplessly in space. The battle was over in less than 10 minutes. 15 of the most feared pirate ships in the galaxy floated dead or dying around the thunderstorm, defeated by a single human vessel. In the council chamber, silence fell. Even the species that had looked down on humans couldn't deny what they had just seen. Humanity hadn't just built a warship, they had changed the rules of space combat forever. Send the cleanup crews, Hejin ordered calmly, and inform the council that we have some more pirates for them to collect. As his crew carried out his orders, Hejin looked at the storm of energy still swirling around his ship. The thunderstorm had proved itself again. But he knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy was changing, and humanity was leading that change, one battle at a time. The grand meeting hall of the Galactic Council buzzed with excitement. Representatives from 50 alien species gathered to discuss the thunderstorm's victories. Engineer Lee stood at the center of the room, facing questions from curious aliens about human technology. But how does the Thunder Array actually work? Asked a blue-skinned diplomat from the Stellar Alliance. Like many others, he couldn't understand how such a simple-looking ship could be so powerful. Engineer Lee smiled and pointed to the hologram floating above the room. It showed the thunderstorm's basic design. Think of it like throwing a ball, he explained. Other ships try to throw the ball as hard as they can. We instead create paths through space that make the ball go where we want. In another part of the station, Captain Hejin met with Commander Song. They sat in a quiet observation room, watching ships pass by through the large window. Your ship has caused quite a stir, Commander Song said, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence. Some species are afraid, others are angry, but all of them want to know how humans created such a weapon. Hejin nodded calmly. We didn't try to copy alien technology. We looked at our own planet for inspiration. Every storm on Earth taught us something about energy and motion. Back in the meeting hall, Engineer Lee continued his explanation. He took out a small metal ball and held it up. See this? It's just a simple projectile. But watch what happens when we add our electromagnetic field. He pressed a button on a small device. The ball floated up and began to move in complex patterns through the air. The aliens watched in amazement as it danced around obstacles and changed direction instantly. The Thunder Array creates thousands of paths like this in space, Lee explained. Our projectiles can turn, speed up, slow down, or even stop completely. And when we capture enemy energy weapons, these paths become even stronger. Leader Krav burst into the hall, his scales dark with anger. This is dangerous, he shouted. Humans have created a weapon that could destabilize the entire galaxy. The room fell silent. Engineer Lee turned to face Krav calmly. No, sir. We created a defense system. The thunderstorm has fought only pirates and criminals. We protect trade routes and civilian ships. How is that dangerous? In the observation room, Commander Song leaned forward. He's right, you know. Your ship has already made the trading lanes safer. Pirate attacks have dropped by 60% since word of the thunderstorm spread. That was our goal, Hejin replied. Humanity joined the galactic community to help make it better, not to conquer it. Suddenly, alarms began ringing throughout the station. Commander Kim's voice came through Hejin's communicator. Captain, we have a situation. 3 Drachnid warships just appeared near the civilian docks. They're demanding the thunderstorm's surrender. In the meeting hall, the aliens rushed to the windows. The Drachnid ships were huge, ancient warships pulled from their reserve fleets. Their hulls were covered in heavy armor, and their weapons were already charging. Engineer Lee quickly excused himself and ran for the thunderstorm. Leader Krav watched him go, then turned to the other council members. Now we will see if humans can fight real warships, not just pirates. But Commander Song smiled slightly. You still don't understand, do you? The thunderstorm isn't powerful because of its weapons. It's powerful because humans thought differently about space combat. Watch and learn. Captain Hajin reached the thunderstorm's bridge just as Engineer Lee arrived at his station. Lieutenant Park was already preparing the thunder array, and Commander Kim had battle plans ready. Sir, Commander Kim reported, those are Dynasty-class warships. Their armor is 2 meters thick. Hajin sat in his captain's chair calmly. Then we'll show them that the strongest armor means nothing if you can't hit your enemy. Lieutenant Park, initialize storm protocol. Let's give our guests another demonstration. As the thunderstorm moved to face the Drachnid warships, the alien representatives watched from the station. Some were scared, others excited. But all of them knew they were about to witness another chapter in the story of humanity's revolution in space warfare. In the council chamber, Leader Krav stood beside Commander Song. Why aren't you worried? He asked the intelligence officer. Commander Song's eyes twinkled. Because I finally understand what humans have taught us. Sometimes the best weapon isn't the biggest or the strongest. Sometimes it's just the smartest. The space around the station lit up as the battle began, and the legend of the thunderstorm grew even larger. The 3 Drachnid Dynasty-class warships hung in space like giant metal mountains. Their ancient hulls bore the marks of 100 victories, and their weapons were built to destroy entire fleets. But Captain Hajin and the crew of the thunderstorm weren't impressed. Enemy ships are charging their main guns, Commander Kim reported from his tactical station. His fingers moved quickly across the display. They're using old Drachnid battle formations, very predictable. Lieutenant Park looked up from her weapons console. Thunder array ready, Captain. Engineer Lee has added the new modifications we discussed. The lead Drachnid ship transmitted a message. Its commander appeared on the main screen, his scales gleaming with decorative war paint. I am War Master Keth of the Drachnid Empire. Your primitive ship has insulted our honor. Prepare to be destroyed. Hajin remained calm in his captain's chair. This is your final warning, War Master. Retreat now, or face the consequences. In response, the Drachnid ships opened fire. Their massive energy cannons lit up space with blinding beams of red light. But the thunderstorm was already moving. Initialize defense pattern Echo, Hajin ordered quietly. The human ship's hull came alive with blue energy. Instead of trying to dodge the Drachnid attacks, the thunder array created a web of electromagnetic fields. The energy beams from the Drachnid ships hit these fields and split apart, their power dispersing harmlessly into space. On the station, Leader Krav watched with wide eyes. How are they doing that? Those are planet killer weapons. Commander Song smiled. Humans learned that sometimes the softest touch works better than the hardest hit. Watch what happens next. War Master Keth roared in anger when his attacks failed. Impossible. Fire everything. Destroy that human ship. The Drachnid ships launched a full barrage. Energy beams, plasma torpedoes, and explosive projectiles filled space. But Hajin had been waiting for this. Engineer Lee, initiate storm protocols, he ordered. Lieutenant Park, prepare thunder array for cyclone pattern. The thunderstorm's hull began to pulse with waves of energy. The electromagnetic fields around the ship started spinning faster and faster, creating what looked like a real storm in space. All the Drachnid attacks were caught in this storm, swirling around the human ship like leaves in a hurricane. Energy capture at maximum. Engineer Lee reported excitedly. Ready for counterattack. Hajin nodded. Lieutenant Park, show them what a real storm looks like. The Thunder Array activated with new power. This time, it used the captured energy from the Drachnid attacks to create something never seen before. The electromagnetic storm around the ship concentrated into a tight spiral, and then burst outward in a wave of controlled chaos. Thousands of guided projectiles, each one charged with the Drachnid's own weapon energy, cut through space in complex patterns. The Dynasty-class warship's thick armor meant nothing as the projectiles found every weak point, every joint, and every weapon port. "Their shields are failing," Commander Kim reported. "Their armor is being peeled away layer by layer." War Master Keth's face showed fear for the first time. "What kind of demons are you humans?" he demanded. "We're not demons," Hajin replied calmly. "We're just people who learn to think differently about space combat." "Lieutenant Park, finish this." The Thunder Array fired one final time. A massive spiral of electromagnetic energy, carrying a special set of projectiles, hit all three Drachnid ships at once. Their engines died, their weapons went dark, and their mighty warships floated helplessly in space. In the council station, the alien representatives burst into excited chatter. They had just watched three of the most powerful warships in the galaxy defeated by a single human vessel. "Notice how they disabled the ships without destroying them," Commander Song pointed out to Leader Krav. "Humans don't just want to win fights. They want to win them smartly." Hajin's voice came over the station's comm system. "Station Control, please send recovery teams for the Drachnid crews. Their ships are disabled, but their life support is intact. They'll need medical attention and transport." Leader Krav shook his head in amazement. "First, they defy our strongest warriors, then they show mercy. These humans are full of surprises." Commander Song nodded. "Yes, they are. And I think this is just the beginning. The galaxy is changing, Leader Krav. The age of brute force is ending. The time of smart warfare has begun." As rescue ships moved toward the defeated Drachnid vessels, the Thunderstorm stood guard, its hull still flickering with traces of electromagnetic energy. The human ship had proved once again that size and strength weren't everything. Sometimes the best way to win a fight was to think about it differently. The defeat of the Dynasty-class warships shocked the Drachnid Empire. Their response came 3 days later, when their greatest warship, the Planet Crusher, appeared at the edge of human space. It was 4 times larger than the Thunderstorm, and its very name made most alien species tremble. Captain Hajin stood on the Thunderstorm's bridge, studying the massive enemy ship on the main screen. Even Engineer Lee seemed worried as he reported, "Captain, their power readings are off the charts. That ship has enough firepower to destroy a small moon." The Planet Crusher's commander, Supreme Admiral Rax, appeared on their screen. Unlike the other Drachnid leaders, he spoke softly and calmly. "Captain Hajin, your ship has impressed us. But now you face the true might of the Drachnid Empire. Surrender, and we will spare Earth." In the council station, Leader Krav paced nervously. The Planet Crusher has never lost a battle. It has destroyed entire fleets. But Commander Song noticed something interesting. "Look at how the Thunderstorm is moving," he said. "They're preparing something new." On the bridge, Hajin turned to Commander Kim. "Is the new battle plan ready?" "Yes, sir," Kim replied. "But it's very risky. We'll have to get extremely close to their ship." Hajin smiled slightly. "Sometimes the best place to be is right next to your enemy." "Lieutenant Park, prepare the Thunder Array for close combat. Engineer Lee, ready the storm protocols." The Planet Crusher fired its first warning shot. A beam of energy bigger than the Thunderstorm itself split space between the two ships. The message was clear. The next shot wouldn't miss. "Beginning attack run," Hajin announced. "Show them what humans can really do." The Thunderstorm shot forward, moving straight toward the Planet Crusher. Admiral Rax laughed. "Brave, but foolish." His ship's weapons charged up, ready to destroy the human vessel. But the Thunderstorm had a surprise ready. As the Planet Crusher fired, The human ship's thunder array activated in a new way. Instead of creating a defensive storm, it made a tight tunnel of electromagnetic energy right in front of the ship. "Energy tunnel holding," Engineer Lee shouted. "We're riding their weapon beam." The alien observers watched in amazement as the thunderstorm used the planet Crusher's own energy beam like a highway, surfing along it straight toward the massive warship. The human ship's smaller size, combined with its electromagnetic control, let it move in ways the huge Drachnid vessel couldn't match. "Impossible," Admiral Rax yelled. "No ship can do that." "Distance to target, 1,000 meters, Commander Kim reported. "We're inside their minimum firing range." The planet Crusher tried to adjust, firing its secondary weapons. But this close, most of them couldn't target the smaller human ship effectively. The thunderstorm circled the massive vessel like a bird around a slow-moving giant. "Now," Hajin ordered, "show them why we named our ship the Thunderstorm." Lieutenant Park activated their full weapons array. At this range, the thunder array's effectiveness was multiplied. Thousands of electromagnetically guided projectiles hit the planet Crusher from all angles. Each hit was precisely targeted, disabling weapons and engines without destroying the ship completely. The planet Crusher's mighty shields, designed to stop energy weapons and large attacks, couldn't handle the storm of small, smart projectiles that seemed to ignore normal physics. Its defense systems, programmed to fight traditional battles, were useless against the thunderstorm's unique attack style. In the council station, Leader Krav couldn't believe his eyes. "They're not trying to destroy it," he realized. "They're taking it apart piece by piece." Commander Song nodded. "Humans understand that winning isn't always about destroying your enemy. Sometimes it's about showing them a better way." On the planet Crusher's bridge, Admiral Rax watched as his mighty ship systems failed one by one. "What are you?" he asked over the comm. "We're humans," Hajin replied simply. "We looked at space combat and decided to think differently about it. Your ship is disabled, but your crew is safe. Please prepare for boarding and rescue operations." The battle was over. The planet Crusher, the most feared warship in the galaxy, floated powerless in space, defeated by a ship a quarter of its size. As rescue teams moved in, Commander Song turned to Leader Krav. "Now do you understand? Humans didn't just build a better warship. They changed how we think about space warfare itself." The Thunderstorm's victory over the planet Crusher would be remembered for centuries. But more importantly, it marked the beginning of a new age in galactic warfare, where smart thinking and innovation mattered more than size and power. 1 month after the planet Crusher's defeat, the Galactic Council called a special meeting. Representatives from every spacefaring species gathered to discuss the changes humanity had brought to the galaxy. The thunderstorm floated outside the station's main window, a constant reminder of how one ship had changed everything. Captain Hajin sat at the main table, with Engineer Lee and Lieutenant Park beside him. Across from them sat Leader Krav and Commander Song. Even some Drachnid representatives attended, including Admiral Rax, who now looked at the humans with respect rather than anger. "The galaxy has changed," Leader Krav began, his voice carrying across the quiet room. "In just a few months, a single human ship has defeated pirates, warships, and even the mighty planet Crusher. We must decide how to move forward." Admiral Rax stood up slowly. "The Drachnid Empire has learned a hard lesson. We thought bigger ships and stronger weapons meant victory. The humans proved us wrong." Engineer Lee activated a hologram in the center of the room. It showed the Thunderstorm's thunder array system. "We're willing to share some of our technology," he said. "Not as weapons, but as tools for peace. The same systems that guide our projectiles can help ships dock more safely. The energy capture technology can protect ships from solar storms." Lieutenant Park added, "And our electromagnetic field control can make space travel faster and safer for everyone." In the back of the room, alien engineers watched with great interest. The human technology wasn't just innovative, it was practical. It could be used to help people, not just fight battles. Commander Song turned to the council. Humans have shown us something important. True strength isn't about having the biggest ship or the most powerful weapons. It's about finding new ways to solve old problems. Captain He-jin stood up. The room fell silent as he spoke. The thunderstorm was never meant to start wars. We built it to protect trade routes and defend civilian ships. Now we want to help make the galaxy safer for everyone. Leader Krav nodded slowly. When the thunderstorm first appeared, I thought humans were too primitive to be part of our galactic community. I was wrong. They weren't primitive. They were revolutionary. Suddenly, Officer Yoon, the thunderstorm's diplomatic officer, rushed into the room. Captain, we're receiving distress calls from the Centauri trading route. A massive solar storm is heading toward a convoy of refugee ships. He-jin looked at the council. With your permission, we'd like to demonstrate how our technology can help in peaceful missions. Go, Leader Krav said immediately. Show us what else your ship can do. The council members watched on the main screen as the thunderstorm approached the solar storm. The refugee ships were small and vulnerable, unable to escape the deadly radiation. Thunder array active, Lieutenant Park reported. Configuring for solar storm containment. The thunderstorm's hull lit up with familiar blue energy. But this time, instead of creating a weapon, the electromagnetic field spread out like a giant net. The ship used its energy capture technology to redirect the solar storm's power, creating a safe passage for the refugee ships. Amazing, Admiral Rax whispered. The same technology that defeated our greatest warship is now saving lives. When the thunderstorm returned, the council had reached a decision. Leader Krav stood to announce it. From this day forward, humanity will lead a new committee on galactic defense and safety technology. Their innovative thinking has earned them this right. Commander Song smiled. And so begins a new chapter in our history. The humans have taught us that true progress comes not from copying what others do, but from finding our own path forward. Captain He-jin looked out at the assembled aliens. The thunderstorm showed what one ship could do. Imagine what we can accomplish if we all work together, combining the best ideas from every species. As the meeting ended, aliens from different species approached the human crew, eager to learn and share ideas. The age of simple warfare was over. A new era of innovation and cooperation had begun. The thunderstorm would continue to protect the galaxy's space lanes, but its greatest victory wasn't defeating the planet crusher. It was showing the galaxy that sometimes the best way to solve a problem was to think about it differently. And in the years that followed, whenever someone saw a ship with a thunder array protecting a convoy or helping in an emergency, they remembered how humanity's first battleship had changed the galaxy not through destruction, but through innovation.